All right, so let's talk. I want to talk about this while the stuff is still fresh in my mind. I don't want to leave it to another day because if I do, I don't know what's going to happen. So, this review, this season 8. As I said before in my intro before the last episode reaction, I talked about how I backed the series all the way through till season 7, even though there were some little things. As I said, it dropped a point for me in season 7. It is probably the only season from season 1 to season 7 that I did not give a perfect score. And the reason why um that I'm so down about season 8 and disappointed in season 8 is because it felt so rushed, you know. It felt so rushed after like 3 episodes. After the third episode of season 8, like it felt like time was just flying. So many things just didn't make any sense. I expected the things in episode 1, episode 2. Those things were expected to happen because if they didn't happen, then what's the sense? You know what I'm saying? Then it's just the stuff just didn't make sense. Episode 4 was good. 2 got a payoff in episode 4, but it wasn't a great episode. A lot of dialogue, but it wasn't a great episode. It was just one good payoff in episode 4 that I really liked, because I'm a big Jamie Brienne fan. I understand now why Jamie had to go back. I really do understand. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he loves Cersei. So love brought him back to her, right? It's like Brienne knew he was going to die. We all knew that's what he's running back to go do is to die in the series. It didn't surprise me that he died, you know. But they wanted that moment of them dying together, so I get it. I get the setup. I get that. Okay, so when it comes on to season 8, man, it's a lot of people. There's a petition out there. Got over a million signatures already of people wanting them to remake season 8. Blah, blah, whatever. We all know that shit ain't gonna happen. So, yeah, we all know that's not going to happen. HBO not about to spend another hundreds of million trying to remake season 8, so y'all can forget that. You know, to me, that's just a waste of time. It's a waste of time. I didn't sign the petition because I didn't see the you know, I'm in solidarity with y'all. The disappointment, but that's not gonna help anybody. HBO is not about to spend that kind of money again to remake another season, to remake something that's already done, and there's no guarantee that they're gonna get the same hype behind it. You get what I'm saying? So from a business standpoint, it doesn't make sense. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm in solidarity with y'all, man. Like, I understand why so many people are upset. It's a very few people, maybe about, I don't even want to say 5%. I think it's probably like 1 or maybe 2% of Game of Thrones fans that are happy with season 8. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people, I've seen, some reactions of the season so far, and you have some reactors like over the top about the season. It's like, oh my god, this is so great, and I'm like, what are you been watching? You know what I mean? Like, it seems like we weren't watching the same things. And the thing about it is that you got to understand that a lot of people care about entertainment more than they care about story. The entertainment of this season. So let's talk about the technical aspects of the season. The technical aspects of the season was off the charts. When you're talking about the sound design for each episode, the the um the CGI was on point, except for a couple of moments it was very obvious. Like In episode 5, it was super obvious, the CGI. The shots, some of the shots were really cool, but the CGI was really obvious. Um, but overall, the season, the CGI was pretty good. I would say a 9 out of 10 overall for the CGI. The CG in the episodes was really really good. The cinematics, oh my god, breathtaking. Hands out, well, hands out. Shout out, shout out to all the different directors that directed the episodes, man. They did a pretty good job with the script that they had. You can't blame them, except for episode 6, which is the actual writers that actually directed the episode. So I guess you could blame the director for that, but they still did a pretty good job of what they wrote in episode 6, right? So the directing was on point, right? So cinematics, great. You know, Drogon and Rhaegar, every time they were on screen, they look beautiful. They look believable. So to do that on TV, it's amazing. The visual effects team, round of applause, because it is not easy to pull that stuff off when you have budgetary constraints, you know, and they've been doing that consistently throughout the series. So the visual effects team, man, beautiful. Shout out to them. So let's talk about the story. Let's get down to the nitty gritty stuff, because that's, in my opinion, is what really matters and why I believe this season was a overall fail. Right? It's the story, the continuance of what you've been building up until this point. This most anticipated season of any TV show in the history of TV. Right? I don't think there's ever been more anticipation for a season of any TV show ever. I don't think so. People literally sit down. I don't want to say we, because I just started watching this back in September. But literally people been sitting down waiting for this season for 2 years. What other TV show have you ever heard of people sitting down waiting for 2 years on this kind of popularity and anticipation? For 2 years, it should have been forgotten. But, you know, YouTube helped. Don't get me wrong, YouTube really did help with that, with the amount of reactors that were doing reactions to Game of Thrones. It kept it going. It kept it alive. Plus, you have the book fans that are waiting for the book to finish and drop, right? So there's also that. Oh man, I had their back. I really did. I really did had the back of Game of Thrones, the TV show, up until 3 episodes in. I really did. If you can see, this season is not. I want you guys to, for the people who are still maybe defending Game of Thrones and defending the story, this is how I want you to think. I want you guys to forget about the outcomes, because people think that the outcomes that we got is the outcomes that we got, so we just have to deal with it, right? Which we have to, but I want you to stop thinking about the outcomes. And we got the outcomes. What I am upset about, what I am thinking about, is what led to those outcomes. That is what doesn't make sense to most of the fans of this TV show. It is not that we got the outcomes, it's what leads up to the outcome, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, each character and what they got. Okay, number 1. Let me get this off my chest. Why is Sam still alive? Is he the only maester that could have ended up in the end game. In the end, is he the only Maester? I don't know. Sam should not have survived this arc in the story. He just shouldn't. And this is what I'm saying. There's just too many characters that had plot armor in this season. Too many. Too many. They killed all the people we expected to die. Nobody died that we didn't expect to die. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? It's just that alone puts Game of Thrones along with all the rest. It puts it in line. It doesn't separate itself anymore from your regular TV show that you watch. That is what set Game of Thrones apart. Nobody is safe, right? They killed all the people that we expected to die throughout the season, right? And I'm not gonna be here saying if I wrote the story. I'm not gonna say that because the story is set. It's set in stone. Can't do anything about it now. So we might as well just talk about what the outcomes, the situations leading up to the outcomes is it wasn't done right. They rushed it. It wasn't done right. So let's hit a couple of pointers with these characters, man. Sam, I believe, should have died, right? We're not going to talk about the people who did die. So Arya, the problem I have with Arya's character this season is that she used her skill one time. Her skill. Why did Arya go and get all that training? Why? They just throw all of that out the window and turn her into what? What? She was just, her whole purpose was just to kill the Night King and then nothing after that? And even during she used her skills to get past the White Walkers. Not even the White Walkers, the Whites. Right? She used her skills there. And then we got to see nothing else. She had a good moment in episode 5, I guess, with the Hound and, her calling the Hound Sandor for the first time, and the words that the Hound said to her. It's pretty cool, right? Telling her, don't get consumed by revenge. Don't become me, right? Loved it. Okay? So that's the problem I have with Arya's character, that she barely got to use her skills. You know what I'm saying? It's like all the skills that she learned, like the badass character that we've come to know, her purpose was just to kill the Night King. Okay, we get it. Jon's character, I don't know. Okay, so we don't get to see, we all know that Jon is a competent fighter. We didn't get to see him go up against the Night King or go up against a White Walker or anything of the sort. I guess we got enough of that back in the day. They just decided, you know what? We're just going to save Jon. We're just going to save Jon to just kill Daenerys. That's about it. Like, we're not going to show him doing any and showing him killing a Starkman. A Northman, right? That's all we're gonna get to see, and just a bunch of emotional scenes with him. That's all we need from Jon, right? This character that you've built up the entire series, brought him back to life to kill Daenerys. Okay. No epic battles, no nothing. You get what I'm saying? There is no way that George is going to write this character like this or write the ending of this story like this. There's no way. There is no way. I don't see it happening. Okay, so another wasted character. I mean, freaking Grey Worm got more screen time than Jon in this season 8. I mean, when you're talking about fighting, Grey Worm got to fight more than Jon on screen. You're trying to tell me that I mean, there's a lot of memes going around talking about this, and people just don't understand how can you build a character for this long and then just throw him to the side, just to bring him back up in the last episode of the season. To what? For fan service? Come on, man. So, and even as I'm talking about this, I'm remembering stuff from the season, and it's pissing me off because I'm like, you have totally assassinated the characters that we've so grown to come and love and to understand their character and know what they would do, and then they just make these decisions that you're like, wait, what? You know? So, all right. Okay, Varys. Varys. Varys did not betray his character at all. I like the way I just I kind of only problem I have with Varys's character and what happened to him is it was the scene was kind of, I don't know if it was necessary to show him dying. It was kind of like that scene could have not happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they just wanted to show how far Daenerys would go. So I understand. I understand. I can't fault them for that. Okay, but Varys did stay true to his character, as in he's always been for the realm. So I'm glad they did that, right? So I gotta give props where it's due. I have to give it where it's due. They did right by Varys' character. I know a lot of people said that they don't like how Varys died, but I love the fact that they stayed true to his character, as in him always been for the realm. It's not about Daenerys. It's not about, Jon. It's just about who's better to be king. Who's better to be protector of the realm. You start acting crazy, I'm not on your side anymore, right? So they did right by him. Okay. Sansa, they did right by Sansa too. So I can't fault them for that. They wrote Sansa very well. The stuff that you would expect Sansa to do, she did. I knew she was gonna be the one that leaked the information. It wasn't gonna be anybody else. I knew Arya wasn't gonna do it because Arya has a better relationship with Jon. She understands things better, and her plan was to go and kill Cersei anyways. So she didn't give a crap about. Arya is not the type who cares who sits on the Iron Throne or who's king, who's queen. She doesn't really care. You get what I'm saying? She just wants she just wants her family back. She just wants that atmosphere back, like when her dad was alive. She wants that atmosphere back. You know what I'm saying? It's us or nobody. You talk shit about my family, I'm coming to get that throat. So they stayed they stayed true to Sansa's character, as in she would be the one to leak the information about Jon. Of course, cool. She got what she wanted. She's, the North being an independent kingdom. She got that. Okay, they stayed true to her characters. No fault there. We also have talked about Jon. Okay, let's get to the big one, because nobody else matters. I don't want to talk about Grey Worm because I don't even know why this dude is still alive, to be honest. He survived the whole damn thing. Let's talk about Daenerys' character, because that's the biggest one. That's the one we all want to talk about. So let's talk about it. Dany's character. As you guys know, she was in my top 5 characters in the whole TV show. She was second behind Jon on many occasions. On many occasions. Right? Because all in all, I wanted her to get the Iron Throne. I wanted her to take the Iron Throne and rule. You know, overall, as you guys have asked me over the time I was reacting and stuff, you guys have asked me, who do you want to see on the Iron Throne? And I've always said Sansa. I think has would be a great queen. You get what I'm saying? Due to the atmosphere and everything of the show and all this stuff that I'm watching, I felt like she would make a great queen. Why I didn't think Dany was gonna, and I thought she was going to die during the war, some way, somehow. I felt like she was going to die. I felt like she was never going to. I felt like something was going to happen and she was going to die, and they would have to choose a new queen. It's like I felt like she was going to die. I felt like Jon was going to die too. So I never chose them because I felt like, to the way how this show is going and the premise that they've set for this show, as in anybody could die at any moment, I felt like Sansa had the better chance of surviving everything. Arya is always getting mixed up and stuff. Arya doesn't want to sit on the throne, so I never considered her. Sansa was the only person that was learning, going through a shitload of stuff, that I think would, the one who, you know, was there, never actually had power. You get what I'm saying? But Daenerys, she grew, she went through some stuff, and then she got the power, and then she felt indestructible, right? But what I didn't like about what they did with Daenerys' character this season is the flip that went on in episode 5 after they killed Missandei in episode 4. It was like they're saying that throughout the season she was slowly descending into this madness, and I'm like, you can't use 2 episodes to do that. You know, you just can't. In a series that we've taken seven seasons to establish a character, you completely annihilate her character in a couple of episodes. How? That is why we're angry. It's not even about the outcome. Because if she went mad and killed everybody, and we had an established timeline of this happening over time, she getting worse and worse and worse and worse. I mean, even you thought she was in Winterfell. She was in Winterfell, and she was saying all these things, how she really wanted the approval of the North and all of this stuff. Like the way how she was expressing herself, like she's like, these people really don't like me, but guess what? If you do these things, if you help us out, eventually they'll come over. They'll be like, oh, she's not so bad. You know what I'm saying? Even though we know people fear her because she got dragons. You get what I'm saying? But if she is the queen, eventually they're gonna come over to the side. Yes, Sansa is, you know, she wants her independent kingdom, but I think she would have gotten it in the end anyways if Dany ends up on the throne, because Jon would have talked to her and be like, listen, just let her have it, because it's not that she doesn't like you, it's just because of this promise that they promise not to kneel to any queen or king ever again, and she wants to keep that word. So just let her have her kingdom. I think Jon would have been able to convince Dany of that if she still had some sense of her character left. You get what I'm saying? But the whole thing about breaking the wheel, all of this stuff that we've known about Dany over the years, she's freeing slaves, she's doing this, people calling her Misa, mother, whatever, right? All of this stuff that was happening, and then they totally just went left field in one episode. It throws everybody off, because it's just like they just really wanted to create that dire situation I'm not saying that they could not have done that. I'm saying the events leading up to it, a couple of weeks brooding in a room, talking about people has betrayed her. That alone can't drive somebody crazy. Losing a friend is not the only she just as I'm thinking about this, you're trying to tell me that Missandei meant more to Daenerys than Jorah? Hmm? That's what you're telling me? She didn't flip any switch there. She didn't flip any she didn't say, "Oh, I'm gonna kill." Hey, you know what I'm saying? Nothing happened there. Different situation, but still, right? She gets to King's Landing. She heard the bells ring. And that's why I love the fact that in the final episode when Tyrion asks Jon, like, would you have done it? Because that goes to show you, man. That goes to show you that it does not. Tyrion did not. He did not see this coming. He did not expect it. Just like we, as the audience, does not expect this from her, because she's like, oh, and then she gives the order. It's like anybody who follow Cersei is going to die regardless of you winning. Like the way our episodes, that's what I'm like. Episode 6, I like it. I still give episode 6 an 8 out of 10 for a lot of reasons. I give it an 8 out of 10 because as I said, I'm not mad at the outcomes. I'm not mad at the outcomes. They did it very well, even though I felt like some things were still a little bit off. I still give it a 8 out of 10 for the final episode of the season. They did well. They did well, as in wrapping it up. I didn't like the fact that Daenerys died and didn't say anything. Like after she got stabbed, she said nothing. I love what they did, burning the Iron Throne, all of that stuff. I loved it. As you can see, you can see that my demeanor in that episode I was very like attentive, because it was the dialogue was good. I didn't like the fact that they spent like freaking 10 minutes of the last 10 minutes of the episode just kind of joking around, to be honest, and then the music playing and showing everybody going out. Like, as I said, 8 out of 10 for the episode, man. I liked the final episode of the series. It's probably my favorite of the entire season, to be honest. As I said, I'm not mad at the outcomes, man. It's just the one thing that really spiraled people out of, people was just mad at episode 5. Episode 5 was just, it just destroyed Dany's character. And I'm like, it's not because because I said, it's not that I wish to see her on the Iron Throne, being a good queen and stuff. It's just that the way how they just absolutely went against all the stuff that they've built up, and there's little to no evidence of her wanting to do something like this. And somebody came at me in the comment section on the last episode talking about, she could what I was suggesting. You need to go back and listen to what I was saying, because I didn't say she needed to have a conversation with Cersei going over there. That is not what I'm saying. What I was saying is that she just go over there, let Drogon hover right there. You get what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Eyeball her and say, you really want this? Because more people are going to die. You know what I'm saying? I think Cersei would have gotten the point right there, even though she was being stubborn. If you being stubborn right there, you know what I'm saying? Just burn I'm not the only person that said this. There's plenty of other reactors that were saying, why didn't they just let Dany just fly over to the Red Keep and just burn the Red Keep. No conversation then. No eyeballing then. Just let her burn the freaking Red Keep. That would have been, I think that would have been a better way, even poetic justice of Cersei getting burned by Dragonfire. Is if it's even that. But hey, we're not writing the story, so I guess we just gotta accept what it is, right? And then she does this, and there's so many open-ended things that's being left unanswered. And I know I'm not gonna touch on every single point in this review, so you guys can talk about it. I really, cause I'm getting a freaking headache right now just thinking about this thing, you know. So I don't want to keep going, you know, because I'm doing this and I'm not editing it. I'm not doing editing to this. You know, it's just thinking about it. It grinds my gears so much. It's just like, you know, we might as well just wait on the book or whatever. For me, I'm gonna have to read the entire thing to see how much better it is. Listen, guys, as I said, man, I've defended this show, defended it to the T when I was reacting to it. I've defended it up until now. I finally, you know what I'm saying, had a certain criticism about it. So it's not that I didn't enjoy the show. It's the reason why we all came back for season 8. It wouldn't have been getting this much backlash. It's and the thing about it, what I want you guys to understand, as I've said before, it's not about the outcome. It's about the things that led up to the outcome that we have a problem with. It felt so rushed. It felt like nothing was established. It felt like we just got a bunch of outcomes and that's it. That's how it felt. It didn't feel like these characters got any time to develop into what they became. You get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that, you know, people expected and they didn't get it, which is obviously you know, what Game of Thrones is about, but even the outcomes that they gave us was still not very satisfactory because of how these characters were built up. And you know, there were too many stuff that was way off. It's just too many. It was just too many. As I said, man, episode 6, I still gave it an 8 out of 10 because of the performances were really good when it comes on to Tyrion, Jon. Um, well, Daenerys was in the episode for what, 5 minutes, and then I'm okay with Bran being the new king. I'm okay with that. It's not an issue. Like, um, I'm okay with that. I don't know why the hell Edmure is there. Uh, I don't know why he came back. Um, anyways, man, let me wrap this up because I can't. If I keep thinking about this, my head is going to probably explode. I know a lot of people is not going to like this review from my channel. Um, you know, because I've asked people honestly, because they, you know, they'll see me rant about it, and they'll try to defend the show somehow, you know. And I've asked them, I was like, honestly, do you really think that this season is good? And they're like, no. You know, so that's what I'm saying. It's just like, you know, people are just taking it for what it is, and I understand. They're just like, you know what? Because they created this time skip, I'm just gonna time skip it in my head. I'm just gonna assume that I'm just gonna play things out in my head and say, you know what, man, this makes sense because, you know, Danny was doing this and he burned this guy alive. Maybe that's what they're coming off of. And man, it's like I'm not the type of person that make excuses in my head. I don't You know what I'm saying? I want to speak the truth. There's a reason why millions of people do not like this season. It's not just me. You get what I'm saying? It's a very few people that are saying this season is good. The critics don't like it. And this and the critics has been giving Game of Thrones 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 the entire series. The entire series. When you're talking about episode 1 of Game of Thrones on Rotten Tomatoes having 90 something percent. Guys, we love it. Just like how you love it. We love it. But it's leaving a very bad taste in our mouth. Very bad taste. So I'm here, man. Thank you guys for watching as always. If you checked out this entire review, man, it's been, you know, I could do a live stream and we could talk about it if y'all want, you know. But for now I'm gonna end the video here. I'm like 30 something minutes in, and there's still much I would love to talk about, but I think I pretty much hit the points I wanted. Say what I really wanted to say about this season. You know, there's other things about the White Walkers and the Night King that I wanted to talk about. But I want to forget it because, you know, they're gone. Whatever. You know. So thank you guys for watching as always, man. It's your boy Everybody Reacts, and peace.